Back to Bitcoin we go, and Bitcoin is creeping up just a little bit. Had a nice day yesterday. It did give back a little bit of its early gains. But again, the bias that we've had continues to be the correct one, at least for now, which is as long as it stays above this line here on a daily closing basis, you remain neutral to bullish, meaning that you should see this curl up like this and make a move higher.
Wait a minute, everyone. We all agree that the crypto market never sleeps, but with countless newsletters out there, how do you choose the best one for you? Bitcoinzilla stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoinzilla today and enjoy the new edge. Let's join Gareth in this video about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
Now again, one of the things I talked about yesterday, which is important, is that if we see this fail and close back in here, the odds are a bullish pattern that fails results in a big move in the opposite direction. By the way, that works for bearish moves too. So if you have a bearish pattern and it fails to break down, or it starts to break down and then reverses, the biggest moves come off of those failed moves. And so the idea being is that right now the bias is here, but if it ever does get back below here, run for cover, because this will be a major failure. And my guess is we would go down to the lower end here, which is around 52 to 53,000. Okay, so just a little, and again, the key is, you may be long Bitcoin, which is fine, and you may say, oh, well, I don't even want to hear about the downside, but don't stick your head in the sand, right? You want to know both sides, and then you make your judgment. You can be long and still know that, okay, as long as it doesn't get below here, this is green, target price up type action. But again, so many people out there, and this goes for investing in all asset classes, they get, it's like, don't tell me anything negative about my trade. I don't want to know. It's not going to happen, And then they get caught with their pants down, essentially, and like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. It's like, well, you got to look at both sides. You got to know where the price action fails, where it strengthens, where it kind of maneuvers. Okay? Looking at Cardano, I do want to touch base on Cardano today. I saw a couple of you guys asking for that. And again, what we do have, and let me extend my trend lines out here, is there's really some amazing trend line action going on here in Cardano, all right? So I want to just bring this back here on the chart and look at this pattern formation. So what we basically have on Cardano is this flag pattern in formation. The biggest thing if you're long Cardano, what would be most concerning is this level down here, right? So see how it keeps happening on this lower level here. As long as this area, this trend line holds, it's okay. If this breaks, you get a leg down and the target price is around 35 cents. Now, on the other side, what you want to see is you want to see this right here. You want to see a breakout above that level. If you can get basically above 48 cents, 47 cents, now you start to get a breakout that can take you well into the 50-cent range. Now, again, the only concern I have is this pattern formation, right? So essentially, this is that pattern formation, and we know that that's generally bearish. So for me, at least, looking at this, probabilities, even while it stays within this pattern, probabilities slightly favor the downside. But really, until it breaks, you can't be that sure. It's not going to be a high enough percentage where you can guarantee. Like, there's no guarantees in trading, as we know. And so it really could go either way, but it does favor a breakdown slightly on that Cardano chart.
Edward Snowden quipped, Bitcoin fixes this, after a technical glitch at the NYSE caused Berkshire Hathaway's shares to plummet, highlighting Warren Buffett's past criticism of Bitcoin. A technical glitch at NYSE caused Berkshire Hathaway's shares to plunge 99.97%, prompting a trading halt and investigation. Crypto fans mocked Buffett's past Bitcoin remarks, pointing out Bitcoin's stability compared to the dramatic stock drop. Edward Snowden highlighted Bitcoin's reliability with the remark, Bitcoin fixes this. Bitcoin surged above $70,000 before dropping to $69,200, demonstrating its typical market volatility. Investors are now closely watching Bitcoin's performance compared to traditional assets. The U.S. DOJ has charged the CFO of a media company with 1 count of money laundering and 2 counts of bank fraud for participating in a scheme that laundered criminal proceeds using cryptocurrency. Authorities allege that Wai Dong and his accomplices used bank accounts opened with stolen personal identification information to transfer the funds to the media company's accounts.
All right, next up, let's take a look at gold here. Gold is seeing a small pullback today, but again, the pattern is the pattern, right? So again, look at how many times, by the way, in all of these charts, the patterns are almost the same. It's either the bullish flag, the bearish flag of consolidation. So we just looked at Cardano, which was what type of pattern was that on Cardano? It was down and then like this, right? And you had kind of this wedge formation. Well, if we look at this, look at the repeating pattern. I mean, essentially it's the same thing, right? And it's below this upsloping trend line. So I continue just to use that as simply as it is, keeping things so simple to just say, okay, well, if that's the pattern and you're consolidating under this upsloping trend line, then the very least, probabilities favor a move down to 2280, which was this former low. If we get there, then we start saying, okay, well, what are the odds that it bounces? How much can it bounce? Or does it take that out, in which case it goes back to this secondary level? But again, the key here is, guys, you don't need a master's degree in crazy technical analysis to just have a general bias on any single chart. Just look for the patterns that repeat over and over again and go with it from there. Good example on this would be right here. Here's your gold chart. What type of pattern is this? Right? Upward move, sideways consolidation, building the base, consolidating, winding that spring for the blast off. It's an up move with sideways. The pattern was telling you up. Simple, simple. So we did see in the overnight a move down in the S&P futures trading lower. But notice again, as we've gotten closer to the open, the markets have begun to float back up. Now, net, we are still negative on the morning session, but for the most part, we are looking at a market that generally is still flat to negative, right? Now, the kicker is this, and this is something I want to talk about, guys, is that we are seeing the bad news starting to filter through. Yesterday, the ISM data came out, manufacturing ISM. It was very weak. The markets did not rally on that. In fact, early in the day, we saw a sell-off in the markets. And again, to me, that's starting to mean that bad news is bad news. In other words, investors are starting to realize that bad news is bad for the economy, right? It means the economy's slowing, but the Fed cannot come to the rescue with the amount of rate cuts that the market would want to save the entire system and pump the markets back up and make the economy sound again because inflation is so high. So in any case, we'll see what the markets do today. I think we're probably going to stay sideways into the open and into the 10 a.m. time frame when that JOLTS data is released.
Bitcoin advocate Michael Saylor agrees to pay $40 million to settle a tax evasion case with the District of Columbia, marking the district's largest income tax fraud recovery. Michael Saylor agrees to a $40 million settlement to resolve tax evasion allegations, the largest income tax fraud recovery in DC's history. Saylor allegedly evaded $25 million in taxes by falsely claiming residency in Virginia or Florida from 2005 to 2020. MicroStrategy, Saylor's company, was implicated in submitting fraudulent tax forms. Saylor denies the allegations, asserting Florida as his primary residence and stating he settled to avoid further litigation burdens. A Bitcoin holder from 2013 moved 200 BTC worth $13.87 million after 11 years, revealing a whale with substantial early Bitcoin holdings. On June 3, 2024, a Bitcoin holder moved 200 BTC, acquired between February and March 2013 when BTC was $25.35. These funds had been untouched for over 11 years. The 200 BTC, originally worth about $7,000, is now valued at $13.87 million, a 197,785% increase. The BTC was consolidated into two P2ST wallets. Similar transactions in 2024 suggest the owner has been moving dormant BTC, indicating control over at least 1,000 BTC, worth approximately $69.2 million today. This activity classifies the entity as a Bitcoin whale. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.